Now, if you're anything like me, when you first started out on this exciting journey of learning how to mix music, you always just kind of felt things out. Whenever you would get a delay, you just kind of play around with the dials, you'd mess about, and you'd try and find something that sounds good. And sometimes you'd hit the target, and sometimes you wouldn't, but it was a big guessing game. With your modulation, with your flanges, with your reverbs, with your delays. It's always just this game of experimentation where you're just fiddling about with the pre-delays, the decay times. Well, let me tell you this. There is a process, an equation, a very simple one. You don't need to be a math genius for this. You only need a calculator and a very, very basic understanding of, divisible numbers to be able to really dial in and have all your effects, every single setting you do in your mixing process can be lined up to fall on beat every single time. And today I'm going to show you how to figure out the BPM of your song perfectly to a T every time, and how to use that to get better mixes. Here we have the song Superman by Eminem. I'm going to turn it down a little bit so we're not getting our ears blown off here, but let's just go ahead and play a little bit of it. We all know that song. I wanted to pick a mainstream song because I wanted to show you how well this works. I wanted to be able to Google the results. I didn't want to pick like a song I'm working on because then I could be like, and this is the BPM, and just trust me. I wanted to pick a song that we could verify. So let's go ahead and highlight a measure of this song. Now, if you are brand new to mixing, you're still going to be able to identify a beat of a song, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know how it works. Those are measures, are bars. Just like they say that there's 16 bars in a verse. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to highlight a single measure. So it's going to start right here, and let's go ahead and listen for one. And I think it's going to be right here. Now, how do you know if you've gotten the measure right? Here's how to find out if you've gotten the measure right. Take your selection and play it. Let it loop. And if it plays on beat, if it plays back smoothly, then you've made the right selection. So if I click play here, and this can sit here and play and play and play and play, and it sounds like it's continuously on beat and the rhythm isn't skipping or glitching or messing up, then you've got the selection. So let's play it. See how it sounds like I could just loop that, make it 5 minutes long, and rap over it, and it's on beat? Superman, leap tall hoes on a single bound. I'm single now. I never let another chick bring me down in a relationship. Save it, bitch. Girl, you could jump on Shady's dick. So I've got the right selection, because look, if I said, oh, I think my measure is this long, you get that do-do, do-do noise. It's not the right selection. You messed up. You made it too long or too short. Or if I made it this long and I said, oh, I think that's the measure, or I think the measure ends here. See? Every time it loops, it sounds like it's glitching, like the beat messed up. But if I measure it out to right here, right where this beat hits, and I start it right here, that's your beat, right? That's one measure of this song. Now, you're going to take it, you're going to take the length of time that this selection is. If I look down here, it says the duration of the selection I've just made is 1.846. I'm going to pull out a calculator, and here's the equation you're going to use every time. You're going to do 240 divided by 1.846. 1.846 equals 130. See that? 130, bunch of numbers. You're always going to want to round it. So if this was 130.9, it's going to be 131. If it's 130.5 or higher, it's 131. But if it was 130.3, you're just rounding it to 130. The BPM of this song is 130 beats per minute. Why is that? Well, here's why we're using the number 240, okay? Is because how many beats are in a measure? There are 4 beats. And if we play it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 beats in a measure. 4 times how many seconds in a minute? 60 equals 240. So every single time you select a full measure, you're using the number 240. Divided by, there's 4 beats in this, and the length of it is 1.846. Divided by 1.846 is, boom, 130 beats per minute. So, let's go ahead and pull up the internet, and let's type in Superman BPM Eminem. Let's Google this. BPM for Superman Eminem song BPM. 130 beats per minute. That's what it is. That's what it says on the damn website. So you nailed it. You want to pick another song? We'll pick any random song in the world. It doesn't matter. Let's not save this. Let's go to another one. What do you guys want? What do you guys want? Let's see here. Tupac, right? California Love. I just picked this completely at random. I have no clue. I haven't listened to this song in forever. But let's try and find the BPM really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, it starts with one of these. It might be here, or it might be at the end of this measure. I'm not sure. Let's play it and see if it loops smoothly. Nope. So let's move to here. Boom. It loops smoothly. Okay. Now, calculator. 240 divided by duration 2.622. 2.622 equals 91.5. We're going to round that up because it's 0.5, so that's 92 beats per minute. California Love BPM. BPM for California Love, Tupac. 92 beats per minute. Oh, can you taste it? There's your BPM every single time. That easy. I saw another person doing one of those tutorials on those tapping, the websites where you just tap your finger on your keyboard and you tap to the beat of the music, and then the program tells you what the BPM is. And he got, when he played Superman, he got 65 beats per minute. And the whole comment section was going, oh, well, it's 130 beats per minute, and yours said 65, so you're wrong. So your thing doesn't work. That's not true. 65 plus 65 equals 130. And really, all that's going to matter in this whole process is what's divisible. What's divisible? That's what you really need to know. So let me show you another example. Let's go back to Superman, and we'll start here. Make it a little longer. See how that plays in a nice loop? Well, think about what I'm doing this time. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull out the calculator. 240 divided by the length of the duration here, 3.678. 3.678 equals 65.2 rounded down, 65 beats per minute, which is not wrong. 65 plus 65 equals 130. Because I could sit here when it's playing and I can sit there and go 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it doesn't make a difference. For what you're using this for, it doesn't make a difference because it's all about divisibility. Now, let's jump into some delays. Let's jump into some reverbs. We figured out what our BPM is. We figured out how to quickly find the BPM of any song. We're going to use 65 and we're going to use 130. So let's go ahead and pull up a notepad real quick. Our BPM is 65 or 130. On the website, it says 130. Doesn't make a difference. Here's what matters is right now, you've got flanges that are asking you how long do you want your decay rate to be or how fast do you want this or that to be. You've got your, compression that it asks you how much in milliseconds do you want to release, how much do you want to grab. Every single plugin you're using to mix is built on milliseconds. Every single setting you have that affects time range is all measured in milliseconds. So if you use a reverb, pre-delay is a measure of milliseconds. Decay time is a measure of milliseconds. If you go into a delay, if we pick our delay here, boom, milliseconds. And there's BPM. And then there's these different measures, but all this is going to be built around milliseconds. You're going to be able to control it. You're going to be able to change it. You're going to be able to use a little bit of math to go a long way with your mixes just by this simple equation. So we figured out our BPM. And how we do it, 240 divided by the length of a measure. Now, what is a millisecond? That's the question. What the hell is a millisecond? A millisecond is 1,000th of a second. So there are 1,000 milliseconds in 1 second. There's 60 seconds in a minute. Therefore, there are 60,000 milliseconds in a minute. So we start out with 60,000 divided by our BPM is 130 equals 461.5. What are we going to do? We're going to round it. It's 5, so we're going to round it up. So 462 ms, milliseconds, divided by 2 equals 230.7, so we're going to round it up, 231 milliseconds, right? What are we going to do again? Divided by 2. What is that? Half of it. 115.3. It's 0.3, so we're going to round it down. 115. 115 milliseconds, right? What are we going to do? Divide it by 2. 57.6. So that's 58 milliseconds, right? We all did that off of 130 BPMs. 462, 231, 115, 58. Let's do it one more time. 28.8, so 29 milliseconds. Okay? All that was built off 130 beats per minute. So let's do it off of 65 beats per minute. Yeah? 60,000 milliseconds in a minute, right? Divided by 65 equals 923. You're never going to want something that long, but screw it. 923 milliseconds, right? Divided by 2 equals 461.5. Round that up. Oh, we already have 462. Divided by 2 equals, oh, look, 231. We already have 231. Divided by 2 equals 115. We already have. Do you see where this is going? I could have used 130 beats per minute. I could have used 65 beats per minute. So it doesn't really matter to get to those numbers we need. All we got to do is hit this and find the loop, find the measure. We use 65, we use 130, doesn't make a difference. The fact is we got these numbers. And these are the numbers you need for a beat that is 65 beats per minute or 130 beats per minute. These numbers are going to change your entire mixing process because we know that everything we just calculated is divisible by the beats per minute of this song. So, if we were looking for a delay, a vocal delay, or a delay on our instruments, a delay of any kind, if you plug in your delay, you're not going to play around with the knobs and mess around and fiddle and faddle and try and find something that sounds good. Let's just switch this over to milliseconds. Now our dial is just going based off milliseconds. If we want a super long delay, we can type in here 923. Now our delay is 923 milliseconds. That's going to be a stupid long delay. I don't know why you'd ever need it, but guess what? That's going to be on beat with your song. 462. Another real long delay. But that's going to be on beat with your song. If you do a vocal delay where you want a very short delay, I would go maybe 58 milliseconds. 58 milliseconds. That, mathematically precise, is going to be on beat with your song. Do you see where we just went? We went from not knowing the BPM to the song, using some basic math to figure out the BPM of the song, and now we know how long all of our delays need to be. If I want a vocal delay and I type in 115, it might sound a little long to me, but it's going to be on beat. If I want to make it shorter, I'm not going to go down to 100. I'm not going to go down to 92. I'm going to use this. If I want a longer delay, I'm going to go up to 231. If I want a shorter delay, I'm going to go down to 58 because every single one of these is mathematically on beat with my song every time. So let's jump into a reverb. There's two big settings on a reverb that have to do with time that you want to get right. And those settings are the decay time, how long it takes to fade out, and the pre-delay time, which is how long do you want to wait for the reverb to clamp onto your sound source. If I'm looking at this notepad here, if I want a reverb that's perfectly on beat with my song, so that my reverb isn't carrying too long and starting to muddy up my mix and playing for too long, if I want me to say something and then it reverbs and then the reverb fades out in perfect time so it fades out by the next beat, if I want it to latch onto my vocal in perfect time to my music, then my pre-delays you usually want short. You typically want to set them under 100, right? So if I wanted a huge pre-delay, at the biggest I'd probably go with 115 milliseconds. I'd probably go with 58 milliseconds. You could go as low as 29. Pre-delay time, 58. Boom. Now, decay time. And this goes by seconds, but here's what it is it can go by 1.2, 2.5, 3 point, blah, blah, blah. In this particular reverb. There's other reverbs where, if I pull up a stock reverb on here, it does the decay time based on milliseconds. Most of these ones from Waves, you can see the decay time is like 1.2 seconds or whatever that is. So if I want a long reverb, 462, this would be 4.62. It's going to round it to 4.6. Certain reverbs would, certain reverbs wouldn't. But that's in time. You have a 4.6 second decay time. You have a 58 millisecond pre-delay. Mathematically, I apologize. My dogs are being retarded right now. That's all in time, to the beat, to the BPM of your song. If that's way too long of a reverb for you, we got 231. So what am I going to do? 2.3. That's in time. If I'm doing a rap vocal, maybe I want, this is 115. So 1.15 is what it would be. 1.15, which is probably going to round to 1.2, right? But mathematically, that's going to be on beat with your recording every time. And this applies to everything. So if I'm pulling up a flange and I need to set a certain decay time, if I need to set times on any of my settings, like EQ isn't time-based. EQ is gain-based. So this wouldn't help you like get a perfect EQ. But anything like, let's say you're using a doubler, right? And you need to do some math on how offset you want the double vocal to be. You can use these numbers to get precision. So I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry, my dogs are being retarded in the background, barking their asses off all through this. I pretty much said everything I wanted to cover today. Hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully this is a game changer for your mixing process. And have a great day.